I'm bored. Let's read a book. Oh! Despite my resolve and Destron's agreement, nothing could be arranged as quickly as I had hoped. There were bans to be posted, agreements to be formalized, and parties to be attended. Parties held by Bostrick's parents, by Brettel and his family. While I went, I stayed as much in the background as possible, hoping that all the festivities would eclipse me. Everywhere I went, I watched, looking like a wolf for the hunters. But I never found them, and with each failure, my guts tightened, as I wondered whether the next instant would find me in the sights of a crossbow. Yet, until Deirdre was taken care of, I did not want to leave. But my staying was stupid, and I wrestled myself night after night. As the fall waned, the sun dropped from the zenith. The rains occasionally fell, and the grasses greened again. Destron lay stiller and stiller upon his bed, not even arguing with Deirdre, sometimes unable to even eat. Deirdre was quiet, though she still sometimes favored me with a smile, and I smiled back. In the end, once again, I had no choice, not if I wanted to live with myself. Each day, more soldiers rode out to the slaughter, faces blank, and they were younger and younger. Each day, more girls and women wept. Only the conflict of the assassins from me, I suspected. The Antonin strategy was working all too well. Fooled by the prefect's anger at the Autarch, what could the Autarch do? Let the bloodthirsty chaos-ruled Gallian soldiers kill her people and troops? Still, I could not afford to take Antonin on himself, remembering the power he still displayed in sweeping me aside earlier that year. I wasn't ready for that, but I didn't think I had to be. Not yet. I pushed Bostrick unmercifully, mindful of Brettel's concerns, not daring nor wanting to leave Fenard yet, not until I could be assured that Deirdre and Bostrick would be all right, yet worrying that my continuing presence might endanger them all. At the same time, I was all too aware of, despite my efforts to learn the knowledge contained in the basis of order, all too many sections of the book I had nearly learned by rote, without really understanding what lay behind and beneath them. There was no one to ask, especially about the more cryptic phrases, the ones that seemed so simple, like the one that read, "And no man can truly master the staff of order until he casts it aside," or the one about, "Love no one until you can love yourself, for the love of another is merely empty flattery and self-deception for one who cannot accept himself without pretense." The second one sounded right enough, but how honestly could a man love himself without pandering to his own wishes to see himself as he wished? Then there was the one that went, "Order and chaos must balance, but as one on a seesaw. The power of chaos is great for destruction in a confined area, for order by nature must be diffused over vaster realms. If you would battle chaos or establish order, you must limit the area and the time which it must be balanced." While that one seemed simple, I didn't have the faintest idea of how to limit chaos. Knowing I could not limit chaos did keep me from walking the straits more often. I finally had let Deirdre sew me a set of clothes suited to holidays and relaxation, still of dark brown, but the fabric was a close-woven cotton. When she refused to let me pay more than the fabric cost, I put the difference in the hidden strong-box that would be her dowry. "Now you look the young craftmaster," Bostrick had said, and I wished he had been joking. I had just shaken my head. The first real chill dropped on Fenard early, even before the early melon harvest, although it did not frost. I ambled through the market at midday, hoping to pick up some fresh melon for Destron, the honey-sweet kind that eased the dryness in his thin throat. White clouds tinged with gray floated above the western horizon. as if coming from the west thorns, but the breeze was light, and the warmth almost summery. I wiped my forehead more than once as I looked for some of the green melons. Ahead was Matilda, the flower lady, who kept casting her eyes at the long wall, as if trying not to. That was where the Prefect displayed the results of his justice, the heads of those who displeased him. Usually the heads were of the common thieves, or a deserter from the Prefect's guards, or a murderer. I looked up there. This time there were 2 heads. I could feel the chill in my guts and the bile in my throat as I saw the woman's head. Seeing the short blonde hair. Rin? Then I looked again and saw the dark splotch on the short-cut blonde hair and the difference in the shape of face, recognizing the captive that I had seen being brought back from the Prefect's soldiers. But it easily could have been Rin. Who knew where she was? Whispers went around the square, and the whispers weren't for the Kyphron soldier, but for the other head of that, an older man, who had clearly been blinded and tortured first. Why? Devil chairs, someone said. Killed the whole household, the Prefect did. Why the sub-prefect? Don't understand. I did not run, but stood there, sewn still behind Matilda. The example of the sub-prefect let my guts churning. Because the man had displayed something of order in his house, or because ordered chairs had burned something of chaos, that had been his fate? The golden couch was gone, with Antonin in it. And now I was out of time and out of excuses. No guards had moved against Destrin or the shop, and none moved the streets while I stood in the square. But that could change. My head and my feet turned toward the avenue. I walked to the shadows by the palace and cast a cloak around myself, letting my feelings sense whether a guard troop might be moving into the city. First, there were 2 guards by the main gates. While scaling the wall looked easier, I have no idea what wards Antonin or any other wizard might have placed there. Wards couldn't be used on the main entrances, or they would be a warning something very instant, especially during the day, since there were bound to be soldiers and ministers and horses in and out of the palace all the time. I just stood there, beneath the wall, far enough away so that my breathing would not be heard, and sat down in the shade and waited. Clinkety clink, clink. The first horse passed by, heading for the barracks, carrying another chaos-ruled killer. I kept waiting, my heart still beating too fast. Clickety click, clickety click. The delivery wagon never reached the palace gates, but turned at the sub-prefect's vacant house. Click, click. Another soldier, this one walking tiredly toward the barracks. I took a deep breath, trying to relax. The relaxation lasted until the next sound of hooves. Clickety click, clickety click. Hold it! Unseen, I eased toward the rider and his horse, one of the chestnuts. I'm Captain Carfless with a message for the military council. Yeah, he's Carfless. He shows up the day before the council meets. Click. My foot caught on the curb and my senses hadn't distinguished. Who's that? I froze, knowing they couldn't see me. Relax. It's broad daylight. There's no one in sight. Creak. As the iron gates swung open, I followed the good captain on foot, and not too close to the rear of his horse, but close enough that any sound I might make would be covered by the louder impact of the chestnut's hooves on the stone of the courtyard inside the gate. I stopped as he dismounted, sensing almost a fountain of chaos somewhere off to my left. The captain, however, turned right, and I decided to go with him. Following the captain into the palace was almost as easy, since he walked with a heavy tread and his boots echoed on the marble floors. From the courtyard, where he had left the horse with the military ostler, whatever they were called. He had passed another pair of guards in the hall. Then he bypassed the grand staircase and walked through a small archway to the side, leading to a narrow corridor that opened into another hallway at the back of the palace. After a left turn, he walked through a red oak doorway with an elaborate stained glass mural set over the open door. My senses did not distinguish the scene all that well, except there was a lot of letter on the glass panes. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss out on any of my videos. See y'all in the next one. Goodbye!